Welcome again to today's class, and today we are going to be reviewing the designs. And I think I'm going to be starting from this, right? So let's start from Zoana's design. Okay, so the task was, once again, let me go to it so that we can all see. um, the task was send a Figma link that contains output 1, which is generating all the user flows, and then output 2 is generating a detailed send money user flow for FinEasy, because that's the product we are working with. And then the second output is your FigJam link, which should contain a send money user flow, right? And let's go back. So this is Zoana's own. So yeah, as I said, um, circle is for starting or ending a process. So if you want to start a user flow, the first thing that you can always see, or you would always see, is a circle, which signifies start, right? Now let's go to the user flow. So the user flow I asked everyone to generate is a send money user flow. So if I was to send money to Zoana, or Blessing was to send money to Tommy, or Zoana was to send money to Victor, what is the user flow that Zoana would go through? You get? So that is exactly what we are going to be checking today. So now let's see. So the first thing is start, right? So you start, that's open your app, then okay, home dashboard, okay, then so this is screen, and I said rectangles represent the screen that you're on, right? So if you open your app, although I think there's a step that was missed, right? Because once you open your app, you can't just go straight to the home dashboard. You still have to either sign up or log in. Do you get? So that should also have been included here as well. So okay, start home dashboard, right? Let's assume we are now on the home screen, and here we see recipient details. Okay, recipient details, then account valid, or okay, let me see. Okay, so I also think there's another process that was missed here, because imagine if someone opens, like, imagine you open like your bank app and you want to send money, right? Once you jump on the home dashboard, like the home screen, the next thing you are going to see would be maybe something like send money, right? You see like a button that says send money. So maybe, let's say from here we click on send money, then the next thing is, okay, recipient details. Okay, maybe I guess what you mean is including the account number, bank, and all that. Okay, okay, then if the account is valid, okay, yes or no. Okay, so if the account is valid, and I said that diamond represents a decision. So if you're about to make a decision, like if you're about to send money, right, or you want to check if, let's say you have typed the person's details and everything, and you want to check if the person's account is valid, right? Sometimes, you know, when you write an account number and then it doesn't show you any bank, right? Maybe telling you that, oh, there's no bank for this account number, or the account number I wrote was wrong. So I guess that's this process, which is yes or no. And then after that, you can now verify the recipient. That's verify who you want to send it to, and then you can now choose whether the recipient's details are correct or not. If it is, you now enter your amount. Okay, you enter the amount, then that's the amount you want to send to the person. And then, okay, yes, this is also good, showing you like sufficient balance, whether you have, your sufficient balance or not. And if it is yes, then you can review the transaction. Okay, makes sense. Then authentication, yes or no. Okay, let me see. Okay, authentication successful. If it is correct, then it processes and goes to transfer successful, right? But if it is So it could either be transfer successful or transfer failed, right? So I think from here it can be processing, then it goes to transfer successful or transfer failed, not from here. Do you get? Because from here, um you're already on transfer successful, so the only thing you can do is to go to here. Yes, do you get? So instead of this arrow to be here, it should be here. You get? Because here it is processing, and then it can either be successful or not. Do you get? So the arrow should have been from this processing, one here and one here. Do you get? So another thing is, once the transfer is successful, yes, you get your receipt. Okay, nice one, well done from you. You actually really tried. Yeah, you really tried. As I said, once you open your app, you cannot just jump to your home dashboard. So there's just one process that was missing here. You get? Well, nice stuff from you. um nice stuff. Well done. So let's go to the Figma link where I said we should also write like the process, like the different user flows, right? So okay, you wrote the prompt here. Okay, so you remember that prompt I showed all of us, right, during the beginning of this class, where I said I sent a prompt where you can now include the name of the product, what the product is about, the people that the product is trying to help, which is students and young professionals, right? Good stuff. Okay, so if you use the prompt one, I'm sure these are like the different things that ChatGPT would send to you as like the different user flows, right? We have like the onboarding user flow, sign up, profile setup, home dashboard, add income, add expense, send money, saving goals. Okay, this is good. Then send. This is how she generated a user flow. Can you see this? Right. So you can see from the home dashboard, tap on send money, then it goes to tell you select bank and account number. So you can see like the process she followed, right? This is exactly what I was asking for. I wanted to see like your user flow, right? Also in FigJam and then also in Figma, right? Let me see, Victor, if I have access now. Okay, I do. So please, anytime we are sending like our files, um anytime we're sending our files, please make sure you like open your access, right? So okay, for Victor, hmm. So he did not. What's flow is this, right? So I don't think this is the send money user flow, right? Send money user flow should just be you starting, um going to your splash screen, going to your login page, entering your app, then going to your home dashboard, and then sending money. But this isn't what I asked, right? So I think you may have to revisit this, right? Yeah, you may have to revisit this, right? The task was specific on saying generating a user flow for sending money, right? So I think you may have to revisit this as well. Let me see what you have in your Figma link. So just like the one I showed about Zoana, right? That's exactly it. What's going on here? So I don't think you like sent the right Figma link, because it's bringing me to this place, right? So I don't think this is the right Figma link. Yeah, I don't think this is the right Figma link, because it's taking me to this place. It's meant to take me to like a file, right? So I don't know why that's happening. Let's see. Okay, she hasn't still accepted requests, so I won't be able to review her work. But let me see Emmanuel's on again. Let me see the flow he created. I think he created an onboarding flow. Yeah, I think he created an onboarding flow. Let me see. Okay, yeah, created onboarding flow. Yeah. this would have been good, right, if I said, oh, let's do like an onboarding, but it's not onboarding I requested for, right? So yeah. So I think what I'll do is, let me also just teach us exactly what we could have done in the task, right? That would be good, you get, so that everybody can also just follow through and understand. So even if you may not have done it right before, it doesn't matter. It's always good that we all learn together, right? We are all free to make mistakes sometimes, right? It all happens when we are in the process of learning, right? I've also made mistakes, and I feel like we can all make mistakes, but it's also important that you read instructions so that you know exactly what you are meant to do and what is right, you get, so that you don't do something else other than what was required, you get. But aside from that, we all make mistakes sometimes, and it happens. So don't beat yourself too much that you made a mistake. Just make sure you work on it and improve, and then make sure that the next time you're paying attention to details. So, like what I said, I will start from here. So, what we are doing today is we are doing a send money user flow. And in the last class, I explained what user flow was and like how we go about it. And a user flow is simple. Just take it, for instance, you are using a product. There is a flow from how you enter the app to how you make a certain action, right? That is a flow, right? When you open the app, if you want to send money, or if you want to, let's say you were using, which app can I use? Give someone should give me an example of any app at all that they use currently. Sydney, give me just any example of any app that you currently use that you love using, any product at all, or any app. Just tell me one app that you love using. Providus Bank. Okay, so let's say you want to use Providus Bank to send airtime, right? um there is a flow for that. Do you get? The flow would be that you enter the app, you sign up or log in, and then after you log in, you see like your home dashboard, right? From there, you will now see something like maybe bill payments, right? Then you click on bill payments, then it goes to saying maybe airtime, um, electricity, or what else. Do you get? Then you now click on airtime because you want to buy airtime from Providus Bank. When you click on airtime, it shows you, okay, we have MTN, Airtel. Do you get? That is a flow. Do you understand? So all these products that we are using, they are actually built on flows. They are built on a user flow. And before a product is being made, there are user flows for everything, right? When I receive a PRD is called product requirement document. So if I, let's say I'm working with a client, for instance, or I'm working with a company, they always have a product um, requirement that they want to make sure that the designer follows, right? In that product requirement details, it shows you exactly what to do, like the the screens you're meant to be designing, the flow you're meant to be following, stuff like that. So you need to understand that in a product, when designing a product, there is a user flow for everything. Do you get? So it's important that we have a good knowledge of that. Do you get? So it's important that we know what user flow is and understand it. Now you may not need to always create a user flow like this, but I feel like having that basic understanding of how to generate it helps you to also understand how to read it. Tomorrow somebody can just use ChatGPT, generate a user flow diagram and send it to you and say, okay, take this. How would you be able to understand it, like the image that the person sends to you, if you don't have a basic knowledge about it? Do you get? So that's why it's important that I'm teaching us like this, so that you have a good knowledge of it. And if you want to use AI tomorrow to create, because you can use ChatGPT to create um what's it called, you can use ChatGPT to create a user flow, you can use any AI there to create user flows. But if you have a good knowledge about it, you can understand why this one is, oh, a circle, why this one is a rectangle, why this one is a diamond. You already have that knowledge, and that's what I want to instill in each and every one of us, so that when we go out there tomorrow and someone gives you a product, a user flow, whatever, you can easily analyze it by yourself, right? You can easily understand what it's saying, right? Now let me give you an example. I generated this using ChatGPT. This is it. Can you see this? I generated this using ChatGPT, right? You can see the stats, you can see the login screen. You can. This is the send money user flow that I said everyone should do, right? And you can see that ChatGPT can also do that, right? And this is, let me reduce this. I want to see if I can zoom in. Trying to zoom in. Okay. So you can see here. Can you see this thing? This is exactly what I was talking about before. You can see the circle. Circle signifies what, start or end. Rectangle signifies that you are on a process or on a screen, which is app screen or process. Then diamond is a decision. So if you're about to make a decision, is either yes or no, whether it is I'm going front, I'm going back, any decision you're about to make, you use diamond. And the arrow is the connector. So if I'm meant to draw this exact diagram now on Figma, that's what I want to show each and every one of us. So the first thing you do is you start, right? Start. And how do you start? By using a circle. Start, right? Now when you start, what do? You go to what they call it, your login screen, right? So from here, this should not be a circle anymore. You are now on a screen, right? So I told us that for start and end, they're only using circles. But when you're now on a process or on a screen, you use rectangles. So now when you open your app, right, you open the Fin Easy app, what's the next thing you go to? You go to your login screen, right, where you can either enter your email, your password. You get? So you go to our login screen. So I'm assuming that the reason why I don't put sign up here is because I'm assuming that we have logged in before, right? We have logged in before, so I'm not putting, because I could have said, okay, we go to a screen where we can do either sign up or login. But I'm assuming that we have logged in before, that Sydney is using Providus. She's just opening her app now just to send money. It's not like she's just signing up. So now she goes to our login screen, right? And on this login screen, don't forget, you see things like maybe your email. You see, let me write it in small letter. You see your email, you see your password, right? What else do you see? Email, your password, yeah, and then maybe you just see a button. Sorry?
Biometrics.
Yeah, but most likely you may just see like your email and password and then just log in. You get, yeah, so you just see one login button, right? That's when you open your app newly. Then the next thing is you go to a screen that shows you two things, right? So if your login is successful, it will go to a place where you can now see this is login successful, right? So it could either be what, successful or incorrect, Abby. So if it is incorrect, it goes here. It goes to a screen. That's why we're using rectangle or square. Right. It goes to a screen, and what are we going to write here? Incorrect login. Maybe your password was wrong, right? Or you may show you incorrect credential or something like that, right? But if it is successful, right, it goes to a screen where you can now select what you will now from. If you log in correctly, you go to your what, dashboard screen, isn't it? Dashboard. That's your home page, your home dashboard. Alright, your home dashboard. So do you guys understand the flow so far? How we started with opening our app here. Open app. Tommy, do you understand? Sydney, do you understand so far? Victor, do you also understand so far? Just give me a thumbs up if you do. Blessing does. Victor, what about you? Do you understand? Tommy, what about you? Do you understand? Angela, what about you? Do you understand as well? Just give me a thumbs up if you do, so that I know that you guys understand. Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay, so let's go back. What was I saying? Okay, so I was saying the first thing is you open your app. From there, what do you do next? You go to your login screen, assuming that you have logged in before, right? And Can't see people. Okay, can see you guys now. Okay, so assuming that we have logged in, right? Um, how did this get here? Okay, so as I said, assuming that you have logged in before, you open your app, and then after opening your app, you go to the login screen. You put your email, your password, and then click on the login button, right? Then, if your login was successful, right? If it is successful, which is a decision whether it's successful or not, it either goes to incorrect login or shows you incorrect credentials, or it takes you straight to the home dashboard because your login was successful, right? So if your login is successful, it takes you to the home dashboard. Now on the home dashboard, you see different things. You can see maybe your, when you open your bank. I don't know, for some banks they show you like your that card, right? Your virtual card that shows you, okay, the amount of money you have currently. You can swipe to see your different. If you have like multiple bank accounts, you can just swipe it, and then you can see like how much you have in each of them. That's how some banks are. But I think on Access, you just see like a list of different things, like different buttons, and then when you now want to transfer money, um, you now click on maybe send money or something like that. So that's a flow for Access Bank. But for maybe something like Providus, for instance, I don't know how exactly your user interface is or how it is because I don't use Providus, right? But okay, let me even use Stanbic because I use Stanbic. Once you enter Stanbic, I think the first thing you see is you just see your account number, your account details, and everything. I also want to check it here so I'm sure. I don't want to say something that it's not it. Okay, exactly. So for Stanbic, as you open the app, the first thing you're seeing is you're seeing your balance, right? Then you see your account number, how much you have in your bank account immediately, right? But for Access Bank is different. You get, so there are two user flows. Do you understand? Just to be able to send money, somebody has to go maybe click on this, click on this, click on this, or somebody else has to do one, two. Do you get? So there are different user flows. So now, as I said, when you're on the home dashboard, right, we have entered the app now. This we are on our home. So here we can see, maybe our balance. We can see different buttons that tell us to, let me write it in small letter. You can see different buttons that tell us to send money, right? You can see buy airtime, and so many things, right? You can be able to see that on your home dashboard, right? But what we want to do from this home dashboard is to what? To send money. So we are now going to tap on send money from the home dashboard, right? And then once you tap on the send money, which is this one, right? We're going to tap on send money, which is this one. And then once you do that, where does it take you to? It takes you to a place where you can now choose who you want to send it to, right? Choose the person, the recipient of the money you want to send it to. So it's going to be another screen, right? So here you see something like choose uh, choose recipient, right? What am I writing? Yeah, choose recipient. So here you're meant to now choose a recipient. Sorry, give me a second. Yeah, I'm coming. Sorry, please give me a second. Okay, sorry everyone. Are we there? Please give me a thumbs up if you can still see my screen or if you can hear me. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry about that. I had to um attend to someone. Okay, so I was I was telling us that from the home dashboard, you can see a place where you send money, right? You click on it, and then from there you'll be able to like choose your recipient, right? That's the person you want to send the money to, right? So um, also in this choose recipient, we can also see things um, um, like our beneficiaries, right? That's where they can say, okay, maybe you should select one of the beneficiaries, or you can add like a new account number, right? A new account number, right? So like, oh, sorry, right? So in this screen, right? I wish there's not even bold. Anyways, in this choose recipient screen, you can see add, choose beneficiary, add a new account number, and all that, right? So this screen, that's where we see that. But from here, we can now choose. We now go to a place where we can make a decision, which is the recipient valid? Do you get? Right? Is the recipient valid? The person that you have entered, that's the person who you want to send the money to, is the person valid? So this is a decision point, right? So if the person that we want to send the money to, that's if you have included the bank account, the name of the bank, and all those things, if it's correct, then it's going to go to a place where you can now write, like, enter your transfer details. Do you get? So if the person is valid, you can now go to a screen where you can enter your transfer details. When I mean transfer details, I mean your amount. We also add narration as well. Do you get? Add transfer details, right? So that's this screen. But if the recipient is not valid, obviously, what will it tell you? It will tell you something like um, the is account is invalid, something like that, right? Invalid. How am I writing different things like this? Right, it goes to a screen. So if your recipient is valid, that's after you have included, you have selected, or maybe you have added a new account number, for instance, and you want to send money. It will either tell you, whether the accounts, the recipient that you have added, whether the transfer details, whether the account number you added is correct or not, right? If it's correct, it goes to the place where you can now add transfer details like your amount, narration, and continue. Some apps do it on the same screen. So there are some apps that after you have chosen recipients, on that same screen as well, you still be seeing things like add narration and all that, right? But the flow is definitely when you add a new account number that is correct. That's when you can now transfer details. That's when you can now transfer an amount to someone. If your recipient's account is not correct, or the account number is not correct, or the bank is not correct, or it doesn't tally with the account number, you cannot transfer. Do you get? So that's how we have been able to get to this stage so far, right? Where we are now on the transfer details page, where we can see our amounts, the narration that we want to send, and then we tap on continue, right? So now another thing that will happen is, if you're also trying to send money to someone, right? I think Zoana included it in a flow, which was very good, right? And um, if you're trying to send an amount to someone, you have included the account number, you have included the amount, the narration, everything. But now you want to send the amount to, you want to send money to someone. It's definitely going to ask you whether your balance, sufficient balance, right? It's going to ask you whether your account is sufficient, right? If your if you have sufficient balance in your account, that's when you can now be able to what you can now be able to review your transaction. And I think she also included it in her flow as well. Review your transaction. But if it's not correct, it will tell you something like um, insufficient balance, right? Yeah. So if your balance is correct, if your balance is sufficient, you can now review the transaction and say, okay, this is the amount I want to send, this is the bank I want to send it to, this is the amount I want to send, right? But if it's not correct, it takes you to a page where you have insufficient balance and you have to like you can't obviously transfer because you don't have enough money. So it's either you transfer to that account or you can't make that transaction. Do you get? And then when you now review your transaction, it now goes to the authentication page, which she also included, which is Wana, right? The authentication page is a page where you can include um, include your pin, your fingerprints, and all that. You get. So you go to the authentication page, right? So here, as I said, this is where you include what your pin. What else do you include? It's just your pin. Some people use fingerprint, like in some banks they allow fingerprints, right? So some people use fingerprints. Yeah. So authentication page is where you now include your pin and your fingerprint, and then from there it now shows you it asks, this is where you now make a decision. This is another decision whether the authentication is what successful. So that means after you have included your pin, there now comes the process again where it's either going to be successful, right, or not. So if it is not successful, it will tell you wrong pin. It can tell you something like wrong pin, or authentication failed. And then if it is correct, what will it take you to? Anybody? If you have added your pin, you have added your amount, added everything, you have added your pin, you now want to send the money, what's the next thing you see? Anybody? You have added your pin. Let's say you want to transfer money, or you're using your bank to transfer money. You have added your bank, the person's name, the amount, and now after that you have now added your pin or your fingerprints to be able to send the money. The next thing it takes you to is a screen where you see something like yeah, or maybe like it's processing, right? You see something like processing transfer, right? So here, this is like that process where you see that loader icon that is showing that okay, it is loading and stuff like that. And then after that, what else you see? You now see something like either um, um, transfer, whether it is successful or not, right? Is it successful? So if it is, it goes here and then it says success, right? So you now go to the success screen telling you that transfer is successful. I don't know if you guys always say that when you are sending money to someone, right? But if it is not successful, it will just tell you maybe there's a network error or maybe something happened. You get, most times when we have bank network errors, you show you something like transfer failed, or it can now tell you maybe retry later or something like that. So do you get, this is how the process is, and then from here we now end and we end with a what? Circle. We started with a circle. Maybe this circle is not circling, but this is a circle I'm trying to draw, by the way. Yeah. So you can see how we were able to create a flow for sending money, right, to a user. How we open the app, how we log in, how we now choose, okay, is this successful or not. If it is successful, it takes you to the home dashboard, but if it is not successful, it takes you to a place where you see incorrect login. And then once you're on your home dashboard and you want to send money, you click on send money or transfer money. Then once you click on that, it shows you the recipient. You can now either choose one of the beneficiaries you have added before, or you can add a new account number, right? Then from that, you now have a decision point again. Is this recipient valid? That is the account valid? Is the account number valid? Um, is the bank valid? Do you get? Then once you have been able to say, okay, yes, it is valid, then that's when you can be able to add your transfer details. You can now be able to add your transfer details, which is your amount, the narration, whatever you want to transfer, right? And then here you are also going to have a decision point again. Is your balance sufficient? Yes, you everything has been correct up to this point, but is your balance sufficient for you to actually make this transfer? If it is, then you can now review that transaction that you want to make. But if it is not, it shows you insufficient balance. That means you cannot make that transfer, or you have to transfer to your bank account. Now, after you have reviewed the transaction, okay, this is the amount I want to send, this is the person I want to send, this is the bank I want to send it to. Then the next thing you can now do is your authentication page, where you now include your PIN. Okay, I want to send it to this person. This is the person I want to send it to. Let me add my PIN, or let me put my fingerprint and send it to the person. Now, if your authentication is correct, right, which is this process, it goes to a screen where it shows you, okay, this transfer is being processed. But if it is not correct, or if your pin is not correct, your fingerprint is not correct, it tells you, oh, wrong pin or authentication failed, so that you know that, oh, okay, something is wrong, right? And after you have processed the transfer, that's after you have seen that screen where that loader, that circle is loading, telling you, okay, your transfer is loading, or whatever animation they have, you can now see transfer successful. So this is also a decision. So after it has been processing, it either shows you two things, which is what your transfer is successful, or your transfer is failed, and then ends. Do you get? Then from this place you now go back again to your home dashboard. Do you get? So that is the flow for what sending money to a user. Do you get? So this is exactly the flow I asked each and every one of us to create, so that I can see like your thought process, right? And AI is there to actually help you, right? If you know how to use AI well, it will definitely guide you on on what to do. Do you get? Okay, so before your question, I think what I'll do is I want us to join a new meeting, right? Because I'm sure in the process of answering the question, the meeting may go off, right? So I wouldn't want that to happen. So I think we'll just join the next one, and then I think it's important that we all join so that we can all learn as well, right? It's important that we all join so that we can all learn. There's no question that is not good enough. So I think let me just add that to the group. Okay. So I've added it, guys. So please join the next one. Is on the group. I'll be leaving this meeting now. So join the next one, and then we would start with Zoana's question, and then we continue from there. Thank you all. Okay, guys, welcome again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'll be continuing from there. Emmanuel, welcome as well. I think it's first time seeing you. I haven't been able to see everybody in the class. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so Zoana, you had a question. You can ask.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
my questions are two. The first one is concerning this user flow.
Okay.
So during my assignment, I missed a flow, right? I
Yeah.
think it was supposed to be a square box, but I wasn't able to just like fit in the box in between the arrow,
Okay.
right? So how do I go about that? Because that was a problem, and I found myself redoing my assignment again just for that little thing.
Okay. Um. So let's say you made a mistake. Let's say, for example, I was to let's say this was meant to be a screen, right? And I missed it just the way you did. I can actually change this to a box. So I can tap on this and then come here. Can you see this? And I change it into a box. Now, because I know that the first step for me is what's the circle, I can just come here, tap on this circle, come here like this, and then connect it. Can you see that? Now I can
Mm,
just write start and I continue. Can you see that?
no, that would be easier to do. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about if I missed a step, probably between
Okay,
login
like okay,
successful and home dashboard.
okay. Let's see. So I think you can drag this, right? Let's see. I want to see if I can bring something here. I haven't really tried that, but let's see. Give me a second. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so let's see. So here I want to add this, right? Okay, this is the box, right? So let me remove this connector first. So the first thing I did was I removed. Let me go back. Let me start again so I can see it. So let me go back so everybody can follow. So what I first did was I dragged this two like back, right? And you can do that by just
Okay,
like this, like that, and then you just drag it back, right?
okay,
Now the next thing is you can carry this new box which you want to add and add it here like that. Now the next thing is, well, let me remove this one first. Let me remove this arrow. So I said the first thing is you drag this two back, right? Now after you do that, you can remove this arrow that connects this one to this one, delete it, and then come here, drag this one up. This is the new screen you want to add, and then come here and you tap on this, connect it. Come here, tap on this, connect it. Can you see that? So that way we have been easy, like we have been able to add a new box. So even if it's inside here too, I can do the same thing as well, right? Let me bring everything back again. So now let's say I want to bring this into this place. All I need to do is what? I can hover on all of them like that and drag it back. Can you see? I delete this arrow, delete, bring this one here, drag, bring this one here, drag. Yeah. So that's just basically it. Funny thing is, this is the first time I'm actually doing that. Like I've never really had a reason, bro. Yeah, I just had to think on the spot. But yeah, so that's exactly how it's being done, right? And you can easily just adjust things like that. So I hope we were able to all understand, um, this, like how we were able to draw this user flow, and if we had another user flow we're supposed to draw, or if someone gives us a user flow and tells us explain this thing to me, I hope we'll be able to easily explain that to somebody else, and also be able to know exactly what to design or the kind of flow when we are designing. And once again, before I take any more questions, right, I also want to say something, right, which is, um, your user flow helps you to know how to design. If you don't have a flow, you can't know what to design, right? You don't know exactly what to design, you will miss your steps. But with a user flow, you know what to design, you know how to start. So from here, I already know, from this start, I know that, okay, maybe my splash screen, right? I know, okay, I'll have a splash screen definitely. I open my app, okay. After opening my app, what do I see when I'm opening my app? If I'm a new user, I'll be seeing things like onboarding screens. But if I'm not a new user, I'll see something like login, right? I'm like, okay, I'll see something like login, right? Okay, if I click on login, what do I see? I see email, password. So in that way, you already know that in your design, these are the things that you have to include. Do you get? If your login is successful, you're going to see your home dashboard. What if it's not? I'm going to see an incorrect login page. So that means in your design as well, you have to design a page that shows that this login is not successful, right? You have to always factor um, the fact that it's not all the processes that will go correctly, right? Somebody can make a wrong transfer, somebody can write a wrong pin, somebody can write a wrong password. You have to factor that in your design, because if the person is using your product and then he makes a wrong pin, what shows? Nothing. No, it has to show something to direct that person and say, oh, sorry, oh, this login is incorrect, right? So that way, um, user flow helps you to know what to design, where to put them, like how to design it, like the flow. Do you get? The flow of what you are designing, and it guides your process, right? With a good user flow, you definitely would not miss any important step, right? You would not miss any important step, because you would be looking at it and be like, okay, I know the next thing here is my home dashboard. Okay, that's the next thing I'm going to do. I know the next thing is a recipient screen. That's the next thing I'm going to do. I know the next thing is my transfer details. That's the next thing I'm going to do. Next thing is, okay, review transact. So this is like a flow, and that is what every designer factors in when they are designing. They just don't design alone. They factor what the users are going to pass through step by step. If you miss any step, it can actually affect the experience. Don't forget, UI UX is user interface and user experience. If your UI is fine alone and you have bad experience, people would not be using your product. I'm sure there are definitely different products that each of us here have used, and some of them have very good UI but have very bad experience, and some of them have very good experience but very bad UI, right? Mostly people would use a product that has two of them or has a better UX, right? People will not want to use a product that has a good UI and they just don't understand what's happening, right? If you click next, you don't know what's going on, like that's a bad experience. So it's important that we all factor this in so that we can always have a very good experience for our users. If you do not factor those decisions that they can make, I promise you, your design will not be functional, right? And as a designer, you have to think about functionality. It's not just, oh, let me design this and make sure this button is popping, or this color is showing, or this text is, you know, looking very fine. What you also have to make sure is this usable? Are my users going to be able to understand what is going on? Is the flow good enough? Are people going to go in this flow? Do you understand? That way it guides and directs your decisions as a designer. So yeah, I hope you're able to learn, a lot, and I hope you'll still continue learning as we go. Okay, so I think questions now. I would love each and every one of us to ask questions where we are not clear.
Okay, so one of the corrections on my assignments on Figma was the transfer successful aspect,
Hmm.
where you said that the transaction field should show from the processing, but from your own flow here, the transaction field comes below the transaction successful.
Okay, let me go back to it again. Let's see, Figma. Okay, so let me see, sufficient balance. Okay, do you mean here?
Yes, that's what I mean.
Okay. Okay, I think,
From processing.
yeah, I think I may have missed it. Yeah, maybe I made a mistake when I was saying that. Because the truth is, once your authentication is successful, once you have your PIN in, like if your pin is successful, which is yes, it goes to a page where you process. Then from there you can make a decision on whether transfer is successful or not. Right, that is after you have put in your pin. Okay, so is right actually. Is right.
Okay then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's
Yeah, that
thank you.
may just have been an oversight or something. Okay, is there any other question? Is there any other question? Do we all understand like what each of these elements this of a user flow is? Okay, Zoana does. Blessing, what about you? Angela, what about you? Abdul Gafar, what about you? Are you clear? Okay. Angela, what about you? Are you also good? Victor, what about you? Okay. Okay, so I hope it was clear enough, and we were able to all learn something new, and we can be able to also understand a user flow. So if I send you a user flow and I say, okay, design this for me, because some clients, they like to do all those things. They'll just send you user flow and tell you, okay, this is how I want my app to be. I want this from this place. Some people are like that. There's some clients that break down everything for you. While there are some that'll tell you, I just want this, right? And this is what I want here and here and here. So you have to like, do the work and show the person and say, okay, is this what you're talking about? Is this the flow? Right? And stuff like that. So yeah, but I'm sure right now we are able to understand what the user flow is, right? Which is good. And we're also understanding how to break down each of these very important things before starting a project, right? You can see that if I didn't have this user flow, I most likely wouldn't even know what to design. But now that we have this user flow, we can know, okay, where we are starting from, what we are going to continue with, how this page may look like, what is going to be on this page. Do you get? I'm sure it has been able to guide us so far. So user flows are very important, and yeah. So I think the next thing we are going to be going to in our next class would be um, creating a style guide. So after, I think I may just break down the class because I wouldn't want to do it all at once, right? We're going to be going into typography, right? Like how to create a style guide. I'm sure you have seen it in different places. People say, I use a style guide, I have like color guide, I have this guide, I have that guide. Yeah, you will be able to know how to create one for yourself and how you can use it in your product. So if you are creating a product that the the primary color is blue and it has other colors as well, you'll be able to know how to create a color guide like that. And if you're working for a product or for a company or for a client, and the person says, oh, I like this font and this is the font I want for my product, and you have done your research and you have found out that this kind of font works for this product, you also have to have like a style guide, right, where you have you know the different typefaces in different fonts, right? So um, yeah, so we'll be going to that in our next class. So I will be communicating to us when our next class will be, and but just know it's going to be about creating style guides. We're going to be talking about typography, colors, and so many more things, right? But for now, we're going to start with typography and colors. You get, so that way you have a good um, background, and then we can now go into the design proper, and then we start designing the mobile app for Fin Easy. So yeah, I hope we were able to all learn something, and if you did, please like, share, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and follow Checkmate as well. The Checkmate community on Instagram. Yeah, one of these days we're actually going to create the LinkedIn. Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking of it, but I don't know. I've not done it yet, so I'm going to do that very soon. So for now, follow us on the Checkmate community on Instagram, and don't forget to comment as well and share it to people who also want to learn design. Yeah, I hope that helps, and I hope we're all able to learn something new today. Yeah, I think, is there any other question anybody has to ask? Okay, if not, happy designing, guys. See you in the next class. Bye. Yeah.
I have a question.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
There's no designer of the week.
Uh so for